Did you know you have the power of creation already at your fingertips? Let's talk about creation energy. Come on in. Welcome back into the Learn, Love, Live You series. I hope you enjoyed last week's video. And before I forget, make sure to subscribe and like the channel so you get notified when new videos come out. So, last week, we talked about getting excited for change and finding joy for yourself every day, even in the simplest of ways. Hopefully, you did that. Hopefully, you practiced last week, finding joy in little things. I'd love to hear what you came up with. So, this week, we're moving on to creation energy. So, if you sit down and think about how you want to change your life, right? Negativity probably kicks in and brings up all the things you say you don't know enough about. When it happens, it's time to change that voice and look at how many amazing skills you already possess, right? So, these skills are all that you need to get moving. Creation energy is simply acknowledging your greatness and changing the language you use when you talk about yourself. Now, we talked about this a little bit last week in changing your language. You're going to hear that a lot because there's a lot of unlearning that we have to start practicing. So, I want to go back in time, right? Back before all the drama and trauma in your life, before the world and other people started teaching you that you weren't enough and you started believing it. You started early on in your life believing those lies that you need to be more like someone else to be great. And I know I've been in this kind of coaching world for many years now, and there's plenty of people who will let you know how great they are and they're living their best life, and you see on social media all of these people who supposedly have all of these things, but they don't. A lot of that is really fake, and a lot of that comes from a multitude of places that you probably don't have access to. Neither do I. So now is the time to change that negative self talk and remind yourself, like, I have all that I need to create my own stability, my own abundance, and more importantly, my own peace of mind. Because the reality is, no one can create that for you. Only you have that ability. So when you catch yourself saying anything like, I'm not enough, I don't know enough, I'm not ready, or when someone else says that about you, you have to stop and say, wait a minute. That is not true. I am ready, even if I've started and stopped before. I do know enough to start again, and there's so much more that I still have to learn and grow. I am enough. There's only one me, and only I can affect who I become and how I face the world. So you'll be able to believe those things more and more as you look at and write out what some of your gifts are. And so this brings us back to the writing. Again, if you don't have the workbook already, I suggest you get it. It's super helpful in getting these things down. But you can grab a notebook, a piece of paper, something that you can look back and keep track of what you've been working on. One way to do this, figuring out what your gifts are, is think about what people come to you for. So people ask you for help. People ask you for guidance. What are some of those things that they're asking you for help with? They're coming to you because you have that gift. They see that gift in you, even if you don't recognize it as your gift, but they're coming to you because they don't have that gift. Oftentimes we trick ourselves into thinking that the things that really are our gifts that we are naturally good at are nothing. Like everybody can do that. When in reality, that's not the case. We all have different gifts. We all have different skills. And it's really important to recognize and acknowledge what those are for ourselves. So um, if you have the workbook, in the workbook, there are some exercises to help you kind of get these out of your head and onto paper. If you don't have the workbook, it's okay. Just sit down with a notebook, a pen, a piece of paper, something to start thinking about. What is it that I'm naturally really good at? What are people coming to me for? What am I able to just do that I never realized that maybe other people don't have the ability to do this. And that's why they're asking me for help or supporting them. And it can be a little tricky. And I don't want you to get caught up in skills, right? Skills that's something that you have been practicing and honing and getting better and better at. It's I think that's where we go wrong. We get caught up in skills and like, oh, why can't I sing like this person? Or why can't I draw like that person? Or whatever. Those are, start with gifts for those people, but they're skills that they have been honing over time, over and over and over, mastering. We're going way back to the beginning of our core skills, abilities, what's come naturally, right? It took me a really long time to recognize that my level of empathy was off the charts, and people knew that, people felt that, people would come to me for support and guidance. Even, like, when I was a little kid, it was really annoying back then. I didn't see it as a gift, I saw it as a problem to get over, but that was a gift that I didn't recognize in myself, I didn't give myself credit for. Being able to listen to intuition was something that I could do really well early in my life. I stopped listening for a long time, but I was able to get back into the swing of things. Those types of things I want you to think, very natural, native things to you. Get those written down, as many as you can think of, and just keep them on a piece of paper. We are going to spend this week really acknowledging those things about ourselves. Every day you can spend a few minutes either writing more things on your list or just reading back over that list and picking one or two that you really appreciate about yourself. Ones that you really maybe didn't acknowledge was really a gift, and just sit with it. See how that feels. Imagine what it would be like if you were using that gift very openly with other people throughout your life, whether it's your career, your business, in your partnerships, friendships, whatever it is. What would it be like if I really was using this consciously a lot more? What can I build using these skills that I already have really naturally? So the next few weeks, we're really going to be in this like internal dialogue, getting out the meat of who we are and figuring out some things that maybe we haven't been looking at. So this is a lot of planning that we're doing here. So you don't have to worry about, pulling in other people necessarily right now, but acknowledge this for yourself. Spend a few minutes every day really acknowledging this for yourself this week. Okay? All right. I think that's it. Next week, we're going to focus on intuition and listening to your inner guidance instead of overthinking every decision. So this is the big one. Make sure you come back for this one. And again, if you haven't already, grab the book and the workbook and start being really intentional about who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world. As always, if you'd like some one on one support from me, make sure to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. All of my links are down in the description. And I think that's it. Have a wonderful week. Let me know how you're doing. I'll see you next time and stay magical, y'all.